Ladies and gentlemen, K Kim here. Welcome to the daily update. Hope you guys had a good day trading today. Market is up about 0.5%. We did see Russell 2000, the small caps, continue to lead the market here. As you can see, Russell 2000 is up about 1.2%. Pretty much all across the board. SPY, NASDAQ, Dow, they're all up about 0.5%. It looks like we did see transport making a little bit of move here, and biotech about 1.5% there. Bitcoin did see a jump. Gold about 1, VIX down about 2.5% there. Let's go back to 65-minute chart and try to figure out what we can expect going into tomorrow. So it looks like we did see that gap up, and this is the best case scenario that we talked about on the last night's video. Just because, you know, the buyers are working with overbought sentiment, they pushed up quite a bit, and the buyers are getting tired. So when that happens, what happens is you see, or best, I mean, obviously, man, I don't know exactly how the market is going to play out. This is what, because I've been analyzing this market so long that sometimes I kind of see what the market needs to do for the market to create that movement to continue, that pressure to continue while the market is at that overbought sentiment. And so when we see something like that, you technically, a lot of times people think that that's a short setup or market is overbought, so this must go down. And then, and people look at that as a, sell signal, and the market gives you that gap up. And then what happens is after the gap up, you see that market tends to kind of grind all day because market's still in that overbought sentiment. So the majority move was already happened on that gap up, and pretty much all throughout the day, market just kind of grinded sideways. And that's exactly actually what buyers wanted to see. They're not mad that market didn't advance. It's just the market is continuing to cultivate higher lows and higher highs while the oscillator reset. Obviously, we're going to look at that oscillator, give you guys an update on it towards the end of this video. But it looks like, looking at things micro term, that's the first hour there. We gapped up. There's some fluctuations there. And the second hour, we drifted low a little bit. Third hour, we continue lower. It looks like we kind of tagged that pivot, or not pivot, I'm sorry, the upper wick from last night or yesterday's last hour trading. So it looks like it tagged that, it looked like that became that micro term support, right? Prior resistance acting as a new support playing here in the micro term. See the dip buyers coming in, brought it up. And keep in mind, even though we saw that lower wick, so there was an attempt to fill the gap, we filled about halfway. So remember, the gap actually happened from here. This is where it closed yesterday, that 370.14, and we gapped up to here, right, to 371, and it came down to fill this much. So about halfway, little less, gap was filled here, technically speaking, but the gap, not the entire gap, was filled. This is a good sign for the buyers. As I was tweeting things out this morning, it will be better for the buyers if gap gets sustained. And this is something that I've been saying, for months now. Every time we see a gap up, it's better for the buyers if that gap remains open, so that the bulls can continue to keep that micro short-term momentum going. And also, good thing about the gap is, let's say price decided to see some kind of shenanigan tomorrow in the next couple of days, and this thing start coming down, because obviously, we are dealing with the overbought sentiment in the short to micro term. And so, while that oscillator resets, we could see, let's say if we do see the price coming down, guess where it's going to find support? We'll find support at 370. Anywhere in this vicinity is all going to act as support. We may come down, see this level as support and go back. We may come back down to this level where it was at micro term support and go back. We may fizzle around and then fill it and then go back. So that's why keeping the gap open as long as it can, it always favors the buyers. Looking at things more of a longer term perspective, should there be some kind of decline. So that's what happened on the third hour. Fourth hour, it looks like we had a 3-hour reversal candlestick there. We've been seeing quite a bit of those. it looks like. You see that that's a red candle. We got that dragonfly doji there, and then you know, we got that you know, bullish candle. And then, you know, after that, you see that move. Same thing here, kind of that 3-hour reversal candle. We got the red, we got the doji, and then a green candle, and then the follow up to the upside there. So that's a 4th hour that, and we kind of, you know, established that micro terms pivot again. That's a 4th hour. And then a 5th hour, we did see another retest, that 371 retest there. But keep in mind, in the short term, micro term of things, being cultivating that higher lows also in the micro term, right? So, and the market did close above near the highs by closing prices. So if I go to line chart, actually, we did cultivate higher high here, right? So going to line chart, that definitely looks like a higher high there. So that's a good sign in the short term. So let's kind of in short to micro term. So we want to continue to give benefit of the doubt to the buyers. You know, I think with the close, you know, where it is at, let's continue to give benefit of the doubt to the buyers in the micro term and the short term. Again, but micro term sentiment can shift quickly, but the momentum is there. So let's just continue to look at this market as overall a bullish sentiment. And let's kind of zoom out and maybe we can see a little bit bigger picture here, maybe short to mid-term. So we've been tracking this rising pivot here, and that's still holding. We held that, you know, we've been talking about that abrupt sell-off here. We saw that here, 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 and we saw it here. And each time we see that pullback, that level was bought up and continue to cultivate it, those higher lows. And you can see with this gap up today, we definitely did cultivate it another higher high. Yesterday we talked about, you know, that double top. See, that double top really wasn't a double top, right? And you can go back and check out that analysis on the last night's video, why I was explaining why that double top isn't a real double top. And today you can see that that double top really didn't see much of a you know what I mean, resistance there. We just gapped that up and we're holding above it, right? And we still have that higher high and higher low cultivation going now. So my short-term moving average is here, guarding that gap area. So should the price come down, you want to see that short-term moving average and 370 area acting as support. My mid-term moving average continuing to rise higher. You can see that we kind of made a little bit of trajectory to the upside right here, it looks like, but that trajectory, the direction of that midterm moving average is up. So we want to continue to give benefit of the doubt to the buyers in the midterm. My long-term moving average is way down here. Obviously, we haven't even begun to retest that for quite some time now. So short-term bullish, midterm bullish, longer-term bullish. As of today, as of this moment, with the data that is at hand, and with this gap up holding, we want to continue to give benefit of the doubt to the buyers, the micro term also. Let's check out that oscillator and see what we can make of this current scenario and the sentiment. So we've been talking about how buyers are, you know, kind of getting to that higher level, right? Because they pushed it all the way up. But we also talked about the fact that that does not always mean buyers cannot push up more, and we gapped up because the gap doesn't count. So a lot of times when the price gaps up, it doesn't do anything to this oscillator. Oscillator it actually manipulates oscillator a little bit, because we were here yesterday, and then when it opened up, we are still there, right? It doesn't expand the oscillator on the gap up. So when we do when we're dealing with that overbought sentiment, market likes to do that. I think we saw something like that similar here. It was overbought, and then we gapped up here next day. So now we're in this vicinity. You can see that we are seeing that oscillator coming down in this reset. The question is how though, right? We got two scenarios here that happened in the last two occasions. This occasion, we saw a little bit of bearish divergence, right? And then we actually did see price pulling back a little bit. in this occasion here, price moves sideways, right? Or the oscillator moves sideways, while the price also did move sideways here. And then we moved further to the upside, and price was able to get up for another several days. So that's kind of, we're at that juncture. It's kind of, can we come back down, or is it going to sideways and higher, right? That's kind of what we're dealing with here. And it's tough to say how this is going to play out at this point. And so what I would say is I want to continue to give benefit of the doubt to the buyers. If you're a longer term trader, it doesn't concern you at all because we're still in an uptrend. Any kind of short term pullback, we want to continue to look at that level as potentially acting as support before this market is pushing back up to make new highs. And nobody knows where the top is. So as long as the market continue to move in this fashion, we want to continue to have that, proper mindset where the market will be headed in the near term here. So I'll come back for you. You guys enjoy your evening and good luck trading tomorrow.